Welcome back, everybody. This is Steve here, and we're right around whatever this is. We're like in early December, Christmas time, and we're really getting right into it. We're rolling out Christmas and all of the festiveness with it. But there's so much about Christmas time, this whole holiday, that is wrong. I mean, it's so hard to put it. I'm not one of these types of people who's going to make like a 3-hour video, detailing every little thing, and it's a lot of work. But what I could do is I could break down within each little video things that bother me. And today we're going to discuss the elf on the shelf. And it's not only that. I mean, this is like a really good video where these are adults talking to adults about the elf on the shelf, and you get to see some people talking about how it intertwines with their children and behaviorism and all that type of stuff. But the thing is, the one thing I want to keep in mind here is, like I said, these are adult people. You turn on the news because you want news, right? You're an adult. You are a grown ass person. So when you come home from work, you want to turn on the news and hear about shit that's going on in the world, things that affect you. But just look at the way that these reporters here, whatever you want to call them, whatever the fuck they are, look at how they handle this situation, the way they talk. I mean, they're just so fucking contrived, so fake. Everybody in this whole thing is fake. They're faker than the elf on the shelf himself. Let's get into it.
This is the time of year when Elf on the Shelf starts up the tomfoolery around the house. So the book promises that the elf is watching little boys and girls to report good or bad behavior.
That's right.
Keep in mind, this is an elf that's watching little boys and girls for good and bad behavior. He's watching the kids for good and bad behavior. Is he watching the parents? Is he watching some little perverted person who wants to come around and do some harm to those kids? No. He's just watching the children's behavior. And look at these people. Like I said, these people are talking heads. That's all they are. I can't get mad at them. They signed up for this job. They know they're liars. They know they're promoting filth, but they probably don't care. But let's get back into it.
Right, but some mental health experts say your household should encourage kids to focus on the tradition of the elf instead.
Some mental health experts suggest that maybe you should focus on the traditions and not this pervert little elf on the shelf and all this nonsense that's going on. Some mental health experts. And when he says that, look at her face. She's kind of like, side-eyeing and saying, oh, no, don't worry about it. Keep celebrating that little pervert, little elf on the shelf. Let him keep watching over your kids, snitching back to Santa. Let's get back into it.
Instead of just being good just to get toys. Health reporter Haley Hernandez to help us out here. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So, ever since those sneaky elves started popping up in homes, experts have been trying to catch him showing signs of life. They haven't caught him moving.
You guys listen to this? They're talking about a doll that came from who knows where. Who cares? I mean, I don't care about the tradition of this fucking elf. But these people, they think it's cute to kind of sit around and talk about a little elf that watches over your children and dictates if they get gifts or if they don't. That's not reality. That's not reality. What dictates if your kids get a gift or not is money. Like, your kids are less a dole, right? If they're on the dole, like a lot of bars, a lot of supermarkets like to collect toys so they can give them to poor kids. Instead of figuring out why these kids are so poor and on the street in the first place, instead of curing that problem, they say, oh, you know what the solution is? Let's get a big box in the middle of the bar or in the middle of some supermarket, and let's just throw a bunch of random fucking toys in there, and then we'll bring them to the kids. Instead of worrying about why are these kids on the street in the first place? Why are they poor? What will happen to their parents? All this type of stuff. Instead of getting to the root of the problem, we're worrying about the elf on the shelf. And these people, they get right up on here, and like I said, they're soulless. These whatever you want to call them, this lady right here, if you're looking at the arrow, these reporters or whatever, they're soulless people. They don't care. They're told what to speak and what to say and shit. But let's get back in it.
Yet, but they say that means we might have his intentions all wrong. In fact, doctors say if the elves are strictly focusing on a child's behavior, it could backfire for parents.
He moves nightly and sometimes morning.
And here's another subscriber. I hope that this lady, everything with her is okay. But just from listening to her, I watched this before, like I did this little video here. There seems like there's something mentally wrong with her. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, hey, who knows if I'm wrong, right? I mean, but just from the way she's talking about this little pervert, little elf on the shelf, it makes me feel like there's something up with her mentally. I could be wrong, but something tells me that I'm not.
He's gotten into the flower and made snow angels.
Oh, so a little inanimate object got into the flower and made snow angels, etc., and what have you, while he's watching your kids. And the parents, they accept this little entity that's running around their house causing all this little mischief while watching their kids and reporting back to Santa or Satan, whoever it is.
I love Elf on the Shelf for about the first 2 weeks.
He's wrote their names in the bathroom with toothpaste.
That mischievous elf on the shelf can be a fun and creative holiday tradition for families, but
What is that all about? That's a bit odd. Somebody put the elf on the shelf on the train tracks to run them over. That's real cute, right? Knowing that so many people kill themselves with laying on the train tracks. People tie dogs to the train tracks, cats. All kinds of evil stuff happens, and this is cute. That's funny. That's real funny.
Megan Kale-Morcombe of the Menninger Clinic says a focus on kids' behavior can backfire and decrease children's motivation to be good.
Really, providing them a sticker for being good or a hug, something small that's more immediate is going to be more effective than making them wait to Christmas to get all of these gifts. And then what do you do when it's not December?
She also says that gift giving should be done out of love and not determined based on whether a child is good.
Gift giving should be done out of love, not good behavior. I mean, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you're a decent person, a God-fearing, good person, and you just look out for people and you do the right thing, why should you be rewarded? Right? I mean, that just sounds silly. So the whole premise of the elf on the shelf is silly. It's foolish. But yet these adults get up here and they say, oh, it's so cute. It's ridiculous.
Good or bad, since no child is 100% good or bad. She's not suggesting throwing away the elf on the shelf.
They just said no child is 100% good or bad. Sure, but why can't we encourage them to just do better? Why does it have to be this contrast between good and evil? You know what I'm saying? That is the battle. The ever-present war in this world is good versus evil. And then they pass that on to the kids. Oh, the kids are doing good and doing evil. No. The kids who were evil when I was a kid, they had problems. Their parents were not doing the right thing. That's why they were evil. I never met a kid who was evil, who had great parents, great background, everything was wonderful. No, there's something going on there. So you can contribute this little pervert elf on the shelf to all that shit.
Although some psychologists have encouraged that, but Morcombe recommends changing the emphasis to a family.
The fact that psychologists are involved in the discussion of the elf on the shelf and children, all that, at all, should be alarming. But it's not.
Tradition. After all, it can be fun for everyone.
We have actually taken pictures of all of his pranks and all that stuff, and we're going to put it into a scrapbook one day for them.
No doubt in my mind there's something wrong with her. People who talk and close their eyes for more than a millisecond and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on a scrapbook, something's up with her. Something's up with her.
Morcombe says those memories and traditions are important for children because they help them feel safe and know what to expect while also establishing a secure attachment relationship with parents. Yep, since the elves are not being too destructive in most homes, he is allowed to stay. And as I was just saying, those memories, those traditions, making that what the holiday's really about will help, help kids bond with their family and know what to expect around holidays.
It is a fun tradition.
In order to help kids bond with their families, what we need is an elf on the shelf. We need a Santa Claus. We need reindeers. We need horrible Christmas music. Temperature changes, misery. That's what we need in order to get the kids more in touch with their families. That's what they're saying here. That's what they're promoting here at KPRC News, wherever the hell that is. It's a sad state of affairs, y'all. And we need to wake up. We need to wake up. I wanted to do like a video about Christmas, but I realized that there's just too many factors in play. And one person that I want to start with is the little pervert elf on the shelf, which encourages snitching, telling, I'm going to look after these kids, and if that kid does something wrong, I'm going to go back and snitch to Santa, so that kid's not going to go get anything. He's going to be sitting there with coal in the stocking. Does that sound normal to you? Does that sound like something that we should be promoting to our children? Hell no. And any of you people out there who think that it's right, you put your little elf on your shelf, you need to be examined mentally, because enough is enough. And this is during 2021 where they're doing vaccine mandates. People are getting put out of their goddamn houses to all this nonsense. And you think that it's still appropriate to put a little elf on your shelf? You're in denial.